Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point, the home of muscular Christianity on Conservative Talk Radio. The bill is HJR 62, House Joint Resolution 62, HJR 62. Tom Graves is the co-sponsor. It will defund Obamacare for a year. It will fund all the rest of government. It will defund Obamacare for this next fiscal year. Call your representative. Encourage them to co-sponsor that. And then call back to this program, 888-589-8840, and tell us how it went. A couple of quick items before we go back to the phones. I'm going to play the Chuck Schumer clip. Washington Post has an interesting story today about how states in the Northeast, this is New England now, the most liberal part of the country, have lost residents, many residents over the years, and as a result, their population is getting older. Now, what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is that liberals are literally dying off in America. The most liberal parts of the country are shrinking in population, and they're getting older. So liberals literally are dying off in America. So, I've said often our long-term strategy ought to be just to outbreed them. Liberals are not into children. They're not into families. They want to have as few children as possible. They don't want you to have children. Their ideal is 0 children, maybe 1. I mean, they're all over the China one-child policy, if not in theory, if not in practice, at least in theory. And we, on the other hand, we believe that the Bible teaches us to be fruitful and multiply. Get married young and have a lot of kids. That's my advice. If you're young, get married early and have a lot of kids. Now, I don't mean make a stupid choice when you get married. Marry somebody of character. Somebody, if you're a guy, you marry somebody that you want to be the mother of your children. You ask yourself that question, do I want this woman to be the mother of my children? If the answer is yes, that's the woman. Marry her and have a lot of kids with her. That's my advice. And we'll just outbreed liberals. We'll raise conservatives. They'll die off. Here's an excerpt from the Washington Post story. Today, 8 of the top 11 states with the oldest populations are in the Northeast. Median age in Maine is 42.7 years. In Vermont, New Hampshire, it's over 41. West Virginia's population has aged precipitously too, with a median age of 41.3 years, 8.4 years older than it was in 1990. 20 years ago, the picture was much different. The 1990 census listed Florida residents as the oldest in the nation at a median age of 36.2 years. So a lot of people still think Florida is the oldest state in the country. It's not. I mean, 8 of the 11 are up in the Northeast. Boomers are less likely to move around the country than younger Americans who, affected by the recession and the drop in economic opportunities in the Northeast and the Rust Belt, have moved in mass to southern and western states. Those factors have sent the median age of northeastern states soaring. So a lot of these young people are moving to the west, which tends to be a little more liberal, but a lot of them moving to the south. So the most liberal parts of the country are slowly dying off. Jay Leno had a great line last night talking about a new reality program based on the White House. He said the name of this new reality show is going to be called Lame Duck Dynasty. So you might want to be looking for that coming to a cable outlet near you. Here's a Colorado county wants to give flowers, believe it or not, a right to life. I mean, I kid you not, the Boulder, Colorado local government has more concern for flowers than for babies. They want to pass legislation that would recognize, quote, the rights of all naturally occurring ecosystems and their native species populations to exist and flourish. So they want flowers and plants to exist and flourish, not so much when it comes to unborn babies. You might have heard about this, a story from Boston where a school had a 9/11 ceremony. And are you ready for this? The 9/11 ceremony featured a Muslim poem, but no recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. I repeat, this was a 9/11 ceremony at a Boston public school. It featured a Muslim poem and no, I repeat, no recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. All this was in the interest, apparently, of multiculturalism. And here's the name of the poem. This is the name of they didn't read the Pledge of Allegiance. By the way, today's the 199th anniversary of the writing of the Star Spangled Banner. Happened on this date in 1814. Here is the poem that was read at this 9/11 ceremony. My grandmother washes her feet in the sink of the bathroom at Sears. That's the poem that was read at the 9/11 ceremony, a Muslim poem. My grandmother washes her feet in the sink of the bathroom at Sears. Meanwhile, they skipped the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's play the Chuck Schumer clip where he admits, look, the American people are not with the Democrats and Obama on Obamacare. When will John Boehner wake up and smell the napalm? Let's listen.
Republicans should train their efforts at 2014. But to hold everything hostage, which in this kind of government set up by the founders they can do, it's wrong substantively, it's wrong politically. When they threaten a shutdown, they're telling cancer patients that research on cures for diseases can't go forward until we kill Obamacare. They're telling highway construction workers that your paycheck and your project are on hold until we've killed Obamacare. They're telling middle-class families who want to buy a home they can't get an FHA loan till we've killed Obamacare. Many of the public's against Obamacare, but very few of the public says, hold up everything else till you repeal it. Just a small few.
So many of the public, Chuck Schumer says, are against Obamacare. Let's go back to the phones. By the way, got a story from the Wall Street Journal how elite Syrian units are scattering the chemical arms stockpile throughout the country. This is Syria's elite unit 450. They have been moving stocks of poison gases and munitions to as many as 50 sites. In other words, by the time anybody gets around to going in there, there's going to be no way to track them all down. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jackie, Whispering Pines, North Carolina. Jackie, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. So did you have a chance to talk to your congressman?
Yes. Renee Elmer's office. And Drew, her legislative aide, said that there are now 140 co-sponsors of Tom Graves' bill. Mm-hmm.
There are how many? There are how many?
46.
46 or 140?
146.
146 co-sponsors.
And that was about when you first started this broadcast, I called.
Yeah.
146.
It's up to 146. And is your congressman on board with this? Is he a...
Well, she.
Is she a co-sponsor?
No, not yet. But she might be soon, I hope. And also I wanted to tell you I called Speaker Boehner's office.
Uh-huh.
And reminded him that in the Constitution, he's number 3. He's very important. He's a lot more important than Senator Reid. So why is he listening to Senator Reid? That's what I told him. It had to be on a message.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's third in line in the line of succession. It's the House Speaker of the House. So.
And Reid is nowhere on that list.
No, he's not.
Leahy is a 4th.
Yeah, he's not in the line of succession. So, all right, Jackie, listen, I appreciate that very, very much. And it's interesting, Jackie talked to her representative's office, and the office knows now that they're, according to the office, I haven't seen this confirmed otherwise, but I'm assuming they're telling the truth here, know what they're talking about. There are now 146 co-sponsors of Tom Graves' bill, and her representative is not among them. I mean, the pressure, if this keeps up, the pressure is really going to start to build. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we can do. You and I can make it politically impossible for any Republican not to co-sponsor Tom Graves' bill. This tsunami can make it impossible for them politically not to co-sponsor this bill. Keep those phone calls rolling. We're going to hit them on Monday. I mean, like a tsunami, like the invasion at Normandy. That's what we're going to hit them with today and on Monday. Let's go to Harold, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, the city of my birth. Welcome, Harold, to Focal Point. What's on your mind? Have you had a chance to talk to your congressman?
Yes, I have, and I've been in touch with them just about every week for the last several months, so they know me intimately because I've been on them about the immigration bill. But let me tell you what they told me. First, I called the Oklahoma City office. They were clueless, according to the guy I spoke with. They didn't have any idea about this bill, hadn't heard about it. So I called the D.C. office. He said, "Yeah, we're looking into it and so forth." But here's what I really wanted to tell you, Brian. By the way, my congressman is James Lankford in Oklahoma here, 5th District.
And I think he's one of the sponsors, isn't he?
They said he wasn't.
Well, let me see if I can find that. That's how is this organized? I guess it's organized by the date that they signed on. Anyway, go ahead. I'll see if I can find his name. Finish your thought.
I just wanted to say up front, I really like him. He's a sharp guy. I voted for him. He's Republican. I won't go over his credentials or anything, but I've been to some of his town hall meetings. Here's what I really wanted to tell you and get your comment on. He's coming from the position of, and he said this at his town hall meeting here a few weeks ago, that he's not for defunding, that he's not for shutting the government down because the main reason is that Obama could still, that when the government shut down, then Obama's got complete control, and that he's worried that he and other congressmen are worried that Obama would pull who knows what, but he would still push Obamacare through. Okay, that's now I hadn't heard that before, but that's what they said.
Yeah,
then the other thing is that today his legislative aide in D.C. said, well, Social Security families wouldn't get paid and military. And I said, well, wait a minute. And I said, I'm saying plural, not singular. If appropriations are done one at a time, and you're funding the DOD and you're funding Social Security and you're funding all these other departments, why can't you just not defund? Why can't you not fund Health and Human Services for Obamacare? And he said, because it goes over into several agencies. So that's where I'm confused, and I've asked them a month ago to send me something in writing with the congressman's plan so I can compare it to what I'm hearing. Anyway, I'll get your comment when you come back.
All right there, Harold, thank you. And I checked, and Representative Lankford is not one of the co-sponsors, and that's just simply not true. It's simply not true that Obamacare cannot be defunded through this continuing resolution. And they don't want government to get shut down, fine. They're not the ones shutting it down. This would be Obama shutting it down, the Democrats shutting it down. They're the ones that would be shutting it down. We don't want to shut it down. We want to keep it open. That's why we're sponsoring a bill that funds all the rest of the government except for Obamacare. Focal Point, AFR Talk.